litmus test, yeah. Wow, this came far. This looks fantastic. Really good job. I can't believe the difference in I've got last week's up, and it's just just the placement of the images and the way that that was handled. It's very nice. Very good job. Okay, I do have some comments, and okay, let's take a look at the typography, and then we'll take a look at the composition and layout. Actually, let's look at the composition and layout first, and then we'll take a little micro look at the typography. So let's look at the composition. Let's look at the layout. Now, the first thing that I'm seeing is an imbalance, and that imbalance points to these images. Now, much better than last week's placement, but they're still not imbalanced, and the reason is because this margin here is so much less than this margin here. Not so much that, I don't know, is this centered on the page? If this is centered, I think these images should be centered on that paragraph right there, which would put the middle guy right about there. And this whole side of the poster is going to settle into place once you do that, because right now it almost looks like it's detached. So a couple of comments I would say about your images themselves. I would put these through Photoshop, all of them, and I would reduce actually I would take them out of that background. That background's really super distracting with the type on there. I would take that or change that color background. Do something with it just to try to see if you can soften those images up a little bit. Once you do that, in the real world, I would say definitely put those through a Photoshop levels or curves adjustment layer, and let's bring down the tonality. Those are really bright, washed out images. So we can bring some contrast back into those and preventing that overexposure on each piece. I think once you do that, I would say a beautiful place to stroke these circles with a very, very, very light yellow. And I think that will really tie this end of the poster in with this wonderful introductory area right here. So think about that. Okay, other than that, the composition's fabulous. I just really, really, really am enjoying this piece a lot. So let's take a look at the type itself. Okay, right now you've got too many hyphens. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines in a row that are hyphen. I would remove hyphens completely from that. Rags aren't too bad at all. No, your rags are pretty good. Good job on that. You've done something very smart with the numbers. You've opened up the kerning so that we can really, really see those numbers. I think that you should do the same thing with your type itself, only this time you're not going to open the kerning. You're going to be opening at what's called tracking. That is the kerning. That's the space between all the letters in the line. So you don't have to go in and individually kern each space in between each letter. You can just you can track the entire paragraph at the same time. And again, that's tracking, and I'm sure you know how to do that. Okay, the one other thing I'm seeing is that right now, I think your spacing here, if you spaced these a little bit closer, you would probably get this, phenomenon right here where it's kind of tipping off the page, because this 2011 is further left in the composition than the first year, the 1998. So if I pull a guide out here, we could go like this and drop it there, and we could see that 2000, where did my guide go? Okay, there it is. Just InDesign doing something weird. Okay, so technically that 2011 should be right there. I'm thinking it might be interesting to place the circle on and move the whole type over. But then you'd start encroaching that, which would mean that you would have to consider 2 lines on something like that. But that might be interesting, either that or move that line over so that you can try it. It might be interesting to place the circle on the line instead of the year on the line, because right now the line's obstructing right through the year and the type. So I'm wondering if we move that line away, will improve the readability and also maybe open up a little bit of space. But again, you'll start encroaching your type there, so if you do that, you have to consider moving that to a 2 lines instead of 1. And the only other thing I have, Nastasia, is that this area right here, let me get rid of that because it's distracting. This area right here is really, really bare. I think it's a great spot for one of these guys. Oh, one of these. Maybe another line right through there. I think it'll add some dimensionality, and I think it'll be interesting. I think this is really interesting that it's flat and that this one has some dimensionality. So maybe we can increase that wonderful relationship by adding another one of those dimensional lines. All right. Other than that, I think you're fabulous. Can't wait to see where this is going. Good job. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. All right. Great job again. Thanks.